Good morning, students. So today we are going to study about carbohydrates. As you all know, students, when we do the chemical analysis of biomolecules, we always get one filtrate and one retentate. The filtrate is called the acid soluble pool and the retentate is called the acid insoluble pool. So these carbohydrates, they are also known as polysaccharides, and they are always present in the retentate, that is the acid insoluble pool. So these carbohydrates, they consist of long chains of sugars. And if we see their structure, they appear in the form of long threads, which consist of different monosaccharide units, which are their monomeric units or their building blocks. If we are going to give the example of cellulose, then you know that cellulose is a homopolymer and it consists of so many monomeric units called glucose. You know the definition of homopolymer very well, students, that those polymers which consist of the same kind of monomeric units, they are known as the homopolymers. Here we have another example of carbohydrates, and that is a starch. So starch, you know very well, it is the reserve source of energy in plants. Whereas if we are talking about the animals, then in place of a starch, here the glycogen store the extra energy or food in the animal body. Yes, student, the structure of a complex carbohydrate, cellulose, is visible to you. You know that cellulose is present in the cell wall of the plant. So here you see the structure of that cellulose. You must remember that always in a carbohydrate, a heterocyclic ring is present. And this is known as heterocyclic ring because some carbon atoms are there in the ring and one position in the ring is occupied by some heteroatoms such as oxygen. So this is the chemical formula of the cellulose, and cellulose is present in the composition of the plant cell wall, and it is a complex type of polysaccharide. You always remember that in the carbohydrates, the adjacent monomeric units, they are attached with the help of a bond, and this bond is known as the glycosidic bond. Yes, student, the other example of carbohydrate is inulin. So inulin is a polymer of fructose. So in a polysaccharide chain, if you remember the polysaccharide chain in the form of a thread, then this thread always have one left hand and another right hand. So the right end of this polysaccharide chain is always known as reducing end, and the left end of the polysaccharide chain is always known as non-reducing end. So it is not in the form of a linear chain, but so many side branches, they are also arises from the main chain. So here I want to tell you more about a starch. That starch, which is a complex type of carbohydrate, it always have a helical secondary structure. So whenever you do its iodine test, you always see that the color of the iodine turns into blue black. It is because of the helical structure that is found in the starch molecule. So many helices and folds are present in which these iodine molecules, they get trapped. And because of trapping of these iodine molecules, the color shown by the starch solution with iodine is a blue black. But such type of helical secondary structures, they are not present in case of cellulose, which is the another complex type of carbohydrate. So that's why it do not show any type of blue-black color with iodine molecule. Yes, student, here the structure of the starch is visible to you. So you can easily see the formation of the glycosidic bond here. See the adjacent heterocyclic rings of the monomeric units and the adjacent carbon atoms. Always on one carbon atom there is one H group that is present, and on the other side OH group is present. Similarly, the condition is same for the other carbon atom. One H is there and one OH group is there. So glycosidic bond is always formed by the removal of one water molecule between these two adjacent carbon atoms. So from this carbon, which is the first carbon of this heterocyclic ring. From here we take OH group, and from the next carbon which belongs to the second heterocyclic ring, here we take the H group. So this OH and H, it later forms H2O, and in this way removal of water molecule takes place, and both the adjacent carbon atoms of the heterocyclic rings, they join with the help of this OH. So COC type of bond, it is known as the glycosidic bond, and this type of bonds are always present in the carbohydrates. Yes, student, this is the molecular structure of the another type of cell wall composition that is present in case of fungi, and it is commonly known as the fungal cellulose or chitin. So here I have shown you the molecular structure of this chitin molecule. Again, you can see very easily the formation of the glycosidic bond here. The COC type of linkages, which is formed between the two adjacent carbons belong to two adjacent heterocyclic monomeric units, is known as the glycosidic bond. Always remember, a glycosidic bond is formed when there is removal of one water molecules from these two adjacent carbons. Yes, students, a little more about these carbohydrates. You know very well, plant cell walls, they are made up of cellulose. Then if we are talking about the plant product such as paper, so this paper is obtained from the plant pulp. So this plant pulp, it is also made up of cellulose, and cotton fiber is also the example of the cellulose. There are certain polysaccharides which are very much complex in nature. And what is the special character of these complex polysaccharides? That in them, some other groups, some foreign groups such as amino groups, they get attached with the sugar molecules and chemically modified sugar molecules in nature. So the complex carbohydrates may be glucosamine, N-acetyl galactosamine. So here I am going to show you the molecular formula of the N-acetyl glucosamine. Besides this, we also know exoskeletons of the arthropoda are members of class Insecta. They are made up of the complex carbohydrate, and which is known as a chitin. So one thing you have to remember about these complex carbohydrates, that these complex carbohydrates, they are homopolymers in nature. That means all the monomeric units which constitute these complex polysaccharides, they are generally the identical type of monomers or the same type of monomers. So here you can see the structure of glucose, fructose, and galactose and glucose. So you know that lactose sugar, it is always made up of two monomeric units, glucose and galactose, and both of these are joined with the help of a glycosidic bond. And here you can see the example of sucrose. And sucrose is always formed by glucose and fructose. Again, there is a bond which link both of these monomeric units, glucose and fructose, and that is the glycosidic bond that is present in carbohydrates. Okay, student, here you can see the structure of the complex carbohydrate or polysaccharide, and it is N-acetyl glucosamine. So heterocyclic ring is present, having so many side branches containing OH groups, and one oxygen atom is there in the ring beside the carbon atoms. And as a subsequent NH2 group is there, and by the subsequent substitution of one hydrogen of this NH group with the acetyl group, its name is N-acetyl glucosamine. Yes, a flow chart of carbohydrate and its classification is now visible to you. So we have classified the carbohydrates into four major categories. These are monosaccharides, disaccharides, oligosaccharides, and polysaccharides. The student, monosaccharides are those carbohydrates which are made up of one single molecule of sugar. And here we have three examples: glucose, fructose, and galactose. Disaccharide are those carbohydrates which contain two sugar molecules such as sucrose, lactose, and maltose. And the third category is of oligosaccharide. Oligosaccharide have 2 to 10 sugar molecules, and it is of two types, raffinose and stipose. And the fourth category is of polysaccharides. Polysaccharides are the complex type of carbohydrates and they have 10 or more sugar molecules. So their examples are starch, glycogen, or cellulose. Yes, student, here I have shown you the chemical formula of three types of carbohydrates. The first formula is of the glucose molecule. So you know that how many carbon atoms are there in glucose? 6 carbon atoms are there. Beside this, we have hydrogen and OH group located to these carbon atoms. One aldehyde group is also there. And other two chemical formulas, they are of galactose and fructose respectively. So you have to draw these formulas and practice this formula so that you can very well get familiar with the location of the H and OH group in these molecules. Yes, student, here we are going to discuss the classification once more. The monosaccharides are those carbohydrates which are made up of one sugar unit. So many examples are there: glucose, ribose, galactose, fructose, and mannose. Disaccharides, it is made up of two sugar units such as maltose, sucrose, and lactose. And oligosaccharides, it is formed of 3 to 12 sugar units. And polysaccharides, they are the complex type of carbohydrates which have monomeric units or sugar molecules more than 12. So one thing you have taken in your mind that these polysaccharides may be homopolysaccharides or these may be heteropolysaccharides. So among the examples of homopolysaccharides, we have starch, glycogen, and cellulose. And heteropolysaccharides, among the examples of heteropolysaccharides, we have chondroitin, sulfate, and then heparin. You know very well, heparin is a kind of a chemical which is present in your blood, and it is responsible for the clotting of your blood. Yes, student, this is again the flow chart of the classification of carbohydrates broadly into simple and complex. In simple, we have mono and disaccharide, and in complex, we have polysaccharide. The examples are very well known to you. Okay, student, that's all in today's lecture. So after carbohydrates, later we are going to study about nucleic acids. So nucleic acids are the fourth category of the biomacromolecules. So one thing you must have to remember in your mind that biomacromolecules are those biomolecules whose molecular weight is above 10,000 Dalton, and they also have larger size, and they are always found in the acid insoluble pool or the reactant. Okay, student, have a nice day, and later we will study about nucleic acid.